All right. Live. I'm here. Sorry about that. I thought I had a couple more minutes before I went on the air. Apparently, I didn't. I'm on the air already. How about that, everybody? Welcome to the show. Sorry about that, folks. What time is it now? It's like 2 minutes after. I swear I was just thinking it was like 3 minutes to 2 or 5 Eastern. What are you going to do? Once in a while it happens. I hope you didn't have to wait too long. Welcome to the channel. It's Bruce here, Traveling with Bruce. Welcome to Friday. I'm ready for the weekend. Are you ready for the weekend? I'm ready for the weekend. Oh, man, I can't wait. Having a good day here today. You know, we started off this morning really rainy and wet and everything, but it's nice now. It's fantastic. Sun has come out and probably about 60 degrees, which, you know, a bit cool for us, but not cold. Cool. And we're getting better the next couple of days, so it's going to improve. So we'll take that. Thank you very much. And, you know, we'll kind of go from there, see what happens. I'm just checking my channel, make sure I'm working. I am working on my cell phone and on my computer. Yep, I'm on my computer. So you folks can see me today. That's great. I see there are, how many here? 16 and climbing. Welcome to the show. Traveling with Bruce, your 6-day-a-week channel to talk about cruise ships and cruise ship holidays and vacations and all kinds of stuff. And I'm glad you're here. I hope you're having a good day. Subscriber count, yeah, the old channel is growing and growing. We were at 3,612 subscribers as of yesterday at this time when I was on the air last time. And we're just now like a little over 36, I think it was 3635 or something like that. Another 20-odd subscribers have come into the show since the channel since yesterday. Fantastic. It's just great. A steady stream of followers are following me. They're finding me. A lot of it thanks to you folks out there who are spreading the word. I appreciate that very much. And the videos are tracking somewhat. And yeah, that's a great thing. I like it. What else is going on here? Thanks again for those of you who are picking up product on RedBubble. My T-shirts and my coffee mugs are selling steadily, and the Amazon affiliate link. Thank you for those of you who are going to my affiliate link through Amazon. The address of which is just down below here. And then those of you who are making absolute out-and-out direct donations to my channel. Thank you to all of you who have yet again this week. A bunch of you have stepped up there and helped me out to keep me going. This is my full-time job, and I thank you all for helping me stay alive. It's fantastic. It goes to pay bills. Just got the bill in for the internet and the phone and oh, you know the old bill. We all have bills, so there you go. Thank you everybody for that, and of course those of you who watch the ads. Thank you. You don't have to watch the whole ad. Like if you get like a really long ad, I think after like a minute or so, you can skip the ad, and I still get paid. It's all good. Thank you very much for that. I was just looking at some of my statistics, and it is funny how some videos of mine really do well financially, and some of them don't. And yet some of them have decent views and don't do well financially, and some have so-so views and do very well financially. It runs the gamut. It sometimes is dependent on. I think what it is absolutely is the topic, the subject matter, I guess is the way to say it. If I'm doing a video about the Hurricane Florence, and it's only about the Hurricane Florence, and it doesn't mention any cruise ships or anything like that in the titling, doesn't pay very much because there's a zillion Hurricane Florence videos on YouTube. So how many dollars can be split out amongst advertisers to creators? But if I do a video about, let's say I do a video about the Oceania, the Nautica, the ship that got blown out to sea 2 days ago. I did that video. That video is doing very well. It's got good viewership, and it's got a very good what they call an ad rate. And but what I don't do is I don't do videos because of the name of the cruise ship only. Like if theoretically I would just do Oceania videos all the time because of the high brand name, 6-star cruise line. I have nothing to talk about. I mean, what am I going to talk about 3 days after the ship got blown out to sea and came back to port, picked up the people? Went to Belfast. What am I going to talk about? You won't watch it. Who's going to watch it? It's not a boring, not a good enough subject. So it's funny how these videos they react. They some of them really do well financially. Some of them just are duds. But you never know when you make them. You just, and for me, I don't care. I make the videos about what I think you'd like to know about, what I find interesting to talk about, and I kind of leave it to the, you know, leave it to the gods at YouTube and the internet and the you know, the world out there. Now, I'm probably horrifying right now. What I'm saying, I'm probably horrifying some of these social media experts out there, if they're ever, you know, as if any are watching me. I mean, come on. Who's watching this guy? 37 people right now. That's who's watching. But I would be horrifying marketing directors and project managers in social media outfits that are going, this guy's just doing it all wrong. You're supposed to do your subject matter for the highest payout. That's what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, you're in it for the money, aren't you? Well, it would be nice, but I'm also in it for the enjoyment of the product I put out. I like to be proud of what it is I'm talking about, and I want to engage with my viewers about what it is I'm doing. And so you got to let the chips fall where they may. I say, if they watch, they watch, and if it pays, it pays. And I say, if it's a good story, people will watch it, and the advertiser will pay to be a part of it. That's my thinking, and I'm sticking to it. So there you go. Love a good story. Now, the other day, I was watching, I was looking for a story for you guys, and I was having, I've been still thinking about this. I'm thinking about doing a video, but I don't know if I can do a video on this story, but I'm going to tell you about it. It's a cruise ship related kind of story. So I hope you're not going to be too bored about it. And maybe some of you have caught this story, and let me know if you have. If those of you who are signing in, people are signing in saying hi to me. By the way, if you've never joined me before, you know, say hi to me. Tell me, where are you watching me from? What's your temperature today for your high temperature? Tell me, what's the price of gas where you live? We're always comparing gas prices. But you know, if you're new, if you've never been here before, sign in. Say, hey, hi, Bruce. It's my first time here. You know, I just subscribed to you, or I'm just watching you for the first time. I'm in, you know, USA or Germany or Australia or whatever. That would be terrific. I'd love that. The gang, my regulars, will say hi to you for sure. They'll welcome you with open arms because we love having new people come by. And I will say hi to everybody here shortly when I get to the end of this little story. But I want to tell you a little story that I came across, and I'm going to be just generic about it because I really can't remember some of the really fine details of it. But this one caught my imagination. You remember the movie Titanic, and the story. You know, we all know what the story was. It's sort of like a love story on the ship that eventually sank, and the guy died and the girl survived, and the girl turned out to be, you know, in the end of the story, she turned out to be the old lady that was telling about her trip across the ocean, and she had this big stone jewel necklace thingy, and she dropped it into the Atlantic and just, you know, dropped it down to where apparently the Titanic was resting down, you know, however many miles below the surface. That's the big story. All right, well, I saw a story the other day that brought that movie back to my imagination. It brought that memory back to me. I saw a story on the BBC, and I think on another news outlet, both from the UK. The story had to do about a purse that is made of gold. And the story started out where two sisters, one sister came over to the other sister's house, and the two of them were going to, quote, tackle the garage and clean out some crap in the garage. That was the big premise of the deal. So the two sisters got together, and they came upon some cardboard boxes that had been in the garage for 7 years. Can you imagine how much dust were on those? And they started going through the contents of these boxes and wanted to throw out what was just not worth keeping and figuring out what the heck is in there. Well, it turns out that the sister who lived in the house, she had been a caregiver for an elderly gentleman and had looked after him for his last, I don't know how many years of his life. I'm going to guess 5 to 10 years of his last 10 years on Earth. And towards the end of his life, he was giving her stuff. I don't need this anymore. You can have it. You can have this. You can have this. And in effect, he's asking her, you know, I'm going to die pretty soon. I'm kind of old here. Would you get rid of this stuff for me? I don't want it anymore, and I don't need to give this to anybody. It's yours. Do with it as you wish. And so she, you know, didn't have the time, didn't have the inclination, just didn't have the heart. So she packed up 7 boxes of his belongings and just put them in her garage and thought, I'll get to it. Well, 7 years later, I'm assuming many years after his death, she finally got to it. And inside one of the boxes, they pulled out what looked like an old purse. And the two sisters weren't sure what to make of it. Then it turns out that when they looked into the contents of the purse, there were some photographs in there, some documents in there, and it became apparent to the sister who was looking after the old gentleman who had looked after him. It brought back memories, and she's, oh yes, this purse belonged to this gentleman's wife, but she had passed years before. She had died years before. And it was the only thing he had of hers in his possession. It's the last thing he had. Everything else he had, he'd given away, donated, or, you know, I don't know who else got it. Somewhere else in the family. I do not know. But this one last item, he said, yeah, you can take that, and all this other stuff. So at first they didn't think anything of the person. They were going to just throw it away. And but then the second sister overnight thought about it and said, you know, I think we should get that purse looked at. And so they decided to take the purse into town, their small little village in the UK. Can't remember the name of the village, sorry. And they knew the optician in town, you know, where you can buy your glasses, had magnifiers, beautiful magnifying type units. And they asked him for a favor. Would you mind looking at this purse, because it's made of a mesh? Are there any markings on this purse? Is there like a brand name, or, you know, what is this? So he looked, and sure enough, he determined that the brand name of the purse and the fact that the entire purse was made of 15-karat gold. It's worth a lot of money. It's a very high-end piece of fashion, very valuable piece of fashion. So they then decided to really dig into the contents of the purse to see just, you know, why did he care? Why did he keep this from his, you know, memory of his wife? And they realized that the wife had been married once before. That the gentleman that when she died, she was married to her second husband, but that she had been married once before. And the first husband is where this purse came from. And the first husband was well-to-do, and she was well-to-do at that time. And she was, in effect, a socialite. She had been a socialite in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. And her glory years, I think the prime years of her life, were the 50s and the 60s, when her husband and her were in the prime of their life. And he was the head of a marine shipping company, a marine shipping, not a company, but a marine shipping board. And I'm trying, like a trade association. I'm trying to figure out, I think, what this organization was, and I'm having trouble digging information up about it. That's why I can't give you much more on it. But apparently, from what I can gather, this association was a liaison between government, the British government, and the shipping industry. And of course, in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, shipping was everything. This is before the jet age took off in 1959-60. So everything coming into Britain, everything getting out of Britain had to go by sea, unless you could fly it by air. But then you couldn't fly very much, because the airplanes in those days were, you know, propeller driven and expensive to run. So if you wanted to, you know, all the food imported into the UK, all exports from the UK of any measure would have been done by ship. And so this association, this entity, was powerful and was extremely important for the industry, of which there were probably hundreds of companies, and all of the land-based companies depending on the shipping companies, and of course the government of the United Kingdom. And this entity was most likely involved in doing a lot of liaison work with shipping organizations of all countries around the world. And so the United States, all of the European countries, from Asia, Africa, South America, you name it. So this gentleman, being the top guy of this association, was well respected, well paid, well-traveled. And he would take trips across the Atlantic to New York, from London to New York, Southampton, from time to time. And he would travel on the ship of the day, which would have been the Queen Mary or the Queen Elizabeth from Cunard Lines, the biggest ships at the time, the most glamorous. And she would accompany him, of course, because when he would go on a business trip to the United States, let's say for a conference, the conference might last 4 or 5 days. It would take 6 days to get there and 6 days to get back. We're talking 3 weeks. So she would accompany her husband. They would go to New York together. They'd be in a hotel or staying with friends. They most likely had friends globally. And she would be probably acquiring fashions from the US for the next season back in Britain, and vice versa. And so I can imagine her traveling on the continent with her husband through France and again through the US and perhaps in other locales. Anyway, inside the purse were photographs of the couple where the ship photographer took photographs of these two, and they were dressed in their finery. She had on her evening gown. He had on his tuxedo, because when you're a first-class passenger going out for dinner every night, it's like formal night every night. And so they were in their finery. There had to have been 5 or 6 different photos where she's wearing a different gown every time, and he's got on the tuxedo every time. And I started thinking about this whole Titanic thing and going, well, here is a piece of history. This purse, this golden purse, is the last bit of physical history of this couple's existence at that time in their lives, in the function that he had in this with this organization, and with the wife accompanying him, the missus, on these glamorous trips. Now, for the husband, once you've crossed the Atlantic 10 times, it's just another trip to the US for work. I got to go to work, but my wife's coming with me. We're going to visit friends in the United States. I don't know where in the US they went. I don't know how they traveled, where they went. I mean, you can just imagine Hollywood writers, a script writer, just taking the story off to any kind of level you want. But I was thinking about the logistics and the lifestyle that they would have had together. And there were no children in these photos. So it was just the two of them. I don't know if they had children. If they did, they might have been with the nanny back at home. Don't know. But this purse survived through all this time and ended up with this gentleman because her husband, by the way, the first husband, he passed away in 1963, because there's an article, a little newspaper clipping in the purse of his passing. He was driving his vehicle in England, in the UK. He had a heart attack at the wheel, and the car went off the road, hit a pole of some kind, but he had already passed away before the accident actually happened. He was, had a sudden heart attack and passed away. And it was a tragic story. Many letters of condolences were inside this purse as well. And he had been given an MBE, a member of the British Empire, by the Queen in 1948 for his services during the war. Again, I don't know his history. I can't find any history on him. I've done some Google searching and just can't find any more details on him. He was one of probably thousands and thousands of loyal British nationals who served his country during the war. The king honored him after the war was over with an MBE, one of many who got one. But he had a job with a high stature career after the war, and he enjoyed some of the perks of that career. And his wife, of course, enjoyed the lifestyle with him. But he passed away in 1963. I don't know when she remarried. I don't know the circumstances of that. I don't know whether she was, moderately wealthy by the time she remarried. Did she marry a guy who was wealthy or just an average guy? I don't know any of these details on everyone else. But the story of the purse is what captured my imagination. And I've been wanting to talk about it for a couple of days, but I've had to really think about this and just kind of go through it in my mind about the story of this of these lives, these 3 people, but in particular the 2, the first husband and the missus, and how they must have lived and traveled in those days in the 50s and 60s, post-war Europe, post-war Britain. I know that I've seen a TV show. I'd seen a television series here in Canada, and actually, I have to correct myself. I was given the opportunity to see a television series that was produced by the BBC, I believe, probably about 8 or 10 years ago, maybe not that long ago, 6 years ago, about a family in Britain, that middle class family today, that the television producers convinced this family to be part of a TV show. I think it's 7 or 8 episodes long, to live lives of a middle class family from 1940 until the 2000s. And every show was 1 decade in time. And they took their house, a typical home in Britain that existed in 1940. It was one of these row homes, you know, townhomes. And they put them in a hotel for a while, and they completely redid the basement of their house. I mean, the main floor of their house, I should say, the main floor. And the first episode was all about what it was like in 1940. The house was a 1940s house. No fridge, no microwave, no automatic can opener, everything by hand, a pantry for the food, and like a cold box that kind of kept food cold for a while because you had ice in it, but not for long. Not even a pretend refrigerator. And every day the wife had to go to the town to buy food, but it was all on ration. Because in 1940 the war was on, and the first show lasted from 40 to 49. The second show started in 1950 to 59, and in the 50s she still didn't have a fridge, and rations did not end until 54. Britain was still on war rations until 1954. So I'm thinking about people who are living in Britain in 54 when this couple have this opportunity to go on the cruise liner to New York, and to for business and for pleasure. And in New York and in the U.S., the rationing ended a lot sooner, and they were able to eat all they wanted, eat whatever they wanted, and she didn't have to do the cooking. And this was also going through my mind what an average person in the United Kingdom was experiencing from 1948, 45 until 54 in this case, and through the 50s and into the 60s. Refrigerators hit big in the mid 50s, and by mid 60s almost everybody had one. But really up until the early 50s, a lot of half the households in Britain didn't have a refrigerator, so they didn't have enough electricity yet to really get that far. But electricity came on board big time in the 50s and the 60s, and homes started to be powered not by coal only, but by electric heat and eventually natural gas and less coal. Anyway, fascinating thing about history of life. Because I'm going to be, I'm 62 now, I'm going to be 63 tomorrow. My birthday's tomorrow. I'm going to be 63. I think back to what would my world have been like had I been born 30 years earlier, and I would have been in my 20s or so in the late 40s and 50s after the war. What would life have been like for those 20 years after the war, from 45 to 65 in, say, Britain? Well, here's a couple that had a whole different life than most people, and she was a socialite, the story goes. I just find that fascinating. Of course, when I use the term socialite, I think about the Kardashians, and I think about Eva Gabor and Zsa Zsa Gabor and all of these, flighty type people. But there are a lot of socialites out there in those days back then whose husbands were well-to-do and they were not able to work. There was no way she could have had a job. Not a chance. That would not have been allowed. That would have been against all social standing. So what will you do? You're going to stay at home and knit all day? No, you're going to be socializing with all your lady friends whose husbands are also captains of industry, and you're going to live a life that is a fantasy world for 95% of the rest of the work, the population. Anyway, fascinating stuff. I just had to tell you that story. I really enjoyed it. If I can dig up more information someday, I would love to do a video on it. But at the moment, I'm still, it's just too many blanks in the story. But in the general gist of the story came out. Anyway, the final thing with the purse. The sisters went to an auction house and they had it appraised. And it is valued at about, they say, 3,800 pounds. So American money, that would be about 5,000 US dollars. Canada up here, that would be worth about 6,500 bucks. Good thing they didn't throw it out. It's up for auction on October the 10th in UK with all the contents of the purse intact. So all the photos, all the letters, everything in there is up, all going out in one lot as an auction piece. I think it'll be a fascinating thing. Hopefully it'll be picked up by a museum somewhere and will be on display, perhaps. Don't know. All the folks are long gone. They don't exist anymore, and it's a piece of history of I would say non-famous, not that famous, overly famous people. They certainly weren't like Kardashian type socialites, but nonetheless, they were known and they had a name, they had a reputation, and this gentleman was very respected in his field, and she was his wife. There you go. There you have it. My little story to start the day. What the heck? But my topic for the day, what I want to ask you guys about today, and I hope you saw this, is I want to know from you guys the cruises you've been on, all the socialites, all my socialites out there, all you socializers, all the cruises you've been on over the years. I want you to tell me the worst port of call you've ever experienced. And it could well be maybe you ended up in a third world scenario and it was awful. Or maybe you ended up in a place you thought would be just primo and turned out to be a bloody disaster. Could be the weather did you in. The tour was a bogus, what you thought you were getting and you didn't, it was awful. I'd love to know what is the worst cruise port you've ever experienced and why? What about it just became a disaster? Did you lose your ID? Did you get pickpocketed? MG Toe, I'm waiting for you, buddy. Did you find there were too many hucksters on the thing? Too many desperate beggars? You know, the photos were great, but when we got there, the place was a dump. You know, something like that. Was there a strike when you got there? There was a national strike about whatever. So it could be a European port. It could be a Caribbean port. It could be an American port, Hawaii, Alaska, South America, Asia, whatever. Tell me your nightmare port story. And share that with me today. I'd love to hear that. As far as mine goes, my nightmare port, I've never really had like a complete, absolute nightmare port, but I will say that having lived in the Cayman Islands, my wife Jennifer and I went to the Cayman Islands on a one-day visit off a cruise ship, which was a kick for us because we lived there. Now we were visiting our old hometown on a cruise for like a 6-8 hour stop. We made the most of that day. We had a wonderful time. We loved it. We rented a car. We went for a drive around the island to our favorite spots, including where we used to live. We saw our old townhouse we used to rent in the old hood, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, that's when it turned into an unfortunate situation, and it's no fault of really the cruise line. Just the way it worked out. It turns out that we took our car back to the car rental agency. They gave us a ride to the pier, which is wonderful. So we didn't have to hire a cab to get back to the boat. We got to the pier, said goodbye to our guy. Everything was great. And then when we got to the pier, it was around 3:30 in the afternoon. The ship was going to leave around 5, scheduled to leave at 5. Here we are, 3:30, plenty of time, and there are 6 cruise ships in town today. There's like 15,000 passengers, and we're all trying to get back on our ship on a tender. And the pier facility on the on the island, they have a north and a south pier right in the downtown harbor area, and I guess they had 2 or 3 ships on this side, 2 or 3 ships on this side. So there were 8,000 people where I was with my wife, waiting in 3 different lines to get our turn on the pier. And we waited for over an hour and a half standing in line, which in the overall scheme of things is not a bad thing, but it was kind of a downer to have to do that. But what we did see, unfortunately, were people who couldn't handle the heat. I remember the heat and the humidity of the Cayman Islands, but there were people there who were not able to handle it, and we had people fainting. And the medical staff from the cruise ships were called in with water and cold compresses, and then the paramedics arrived from the island's hospitals with stretchers and with water and whatever they had to do, and nobody got terribly ill. It was a little sunstroke, but mainly people just passing out from dehydration. They were just they'd been out all day having a great old time at Stingray City or 7 Mile Beach or wherever they went on the island, and they just didn't drink enough liquids because they too thought, well, we'll get back to the pier at 3 o'clock. We'll be on the ship at 3:30, and then we'll go to the buffet or something, get a bite to eat. Well, now they're standing in line for an hour and a half, and yeah, after an hour and a half of losing, I think you lose a liter of water per adult, per person. Is it per half hour or 2 liters an hour? It's a lot of liquid that just evaporates out of your body. Just standing there. And yeah, some of the kids got woozy, and some of the elderly. And so I started noticing cruise people, uniformed cruise members. They were coming up and down the line. They're looking at us, and they were looking for the elderly, and they're looking for kids. And they were grabbing all those, you two folks, 75-year-olds, come with us. Mom and dad and those 2 children, come with us, and to the front of the line. Get them on the tender right now. Get them on the ship first. Able-bodied adults who don't look to be too ill, you're going last. I didn't mind. It was okay. But it was a downer. But it wasn't a catastrophic event. Not really. But I'd like to hear what you have to say about your events, and let me know. All right, I'm going to say hi to everybody quickly here. And again, thank you everybody for watching my channel and everything else. I just noticed a donation come through and a second donation. I'll make note of those. First of all, Richard C. was here first. Thank you, Richard, for joining me again today. I think you're from Philly. Great to have you back, pal. Peter Heckham is here. It's 90. It was what's the temperature? You got 50 inches of rain in Tarpon Springs already this year. Record rain amounts. Unbelievable, Peter. Welcome back. A loyal follower of my channel. Thank you, Peter, also for your donation this week. Thank you so much. Peter's telling me gas is $2.57 a gallon in Tarpon Springs, Florida, near Tampa, down from $2.79 a week ago. Not bad, buddy. Robert Brandt is here. Hey, Robert, how you doing, pal? Peter and everyone, 86 in St. John. He's in St. John today, U.S. Virgin Islands, a sister island to St. Thomas. But the rum of the day is Kirk and Sweeney. 12-year-old rum of the day, no ships in port. Welcome, sir. Glad you're back. AC Super Sport, hey everyone. 90s in Atlanta, just got home from school. Just waiting for more Lego pieces. Cat Rose is here. Paul Wilson is here. Hey, Paul, how you doing, buddy? Robert Brandt, again, saying hi to everybody. Cool Jazz is here from New York. Welcome, pal. Brittany Lockwood is here. Hi, Brittany from Louisiana. Cat Rose is saying hi to everybody. Crazy Rich Guys Travel. They're both here. Kaya and Janu in the house. Guys, how are you? Guys, I have a favor to ask of you. If you're ever going to do this again, I just love the fact that you guys were at your brother's establishment, and folks are enjoying a few libations and watching my show on the TV screens. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. I want you to do me a favor. If you ever do that again, I would love this if you could pull this off somehow. If you two guys could be in front of the TV with the whole crowd kind of around, and you have someone at the other end of the establishment take a photo of all you guys watching me on a screen, I would love to see that. That would be, if you could post that on my Facebook group page, Traveling with Bruce group page on Facebook, I would get such a kick out of seeing that. That would be such a hoot. If you can pull that off, by all means, that would be absolutely fantastic. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Brittany Lockwood is saying hi. Who else is here? Brittany, AC. Ann Jordan is here from Brisbane, Australia. Hi, Ann Jordan. I'm just whipping through everybody. Vivian Clark Nicholson. I'm in the UK. It'll be 10 p.m. here when you start. Vivian, how are you? If you're here for the first time, welcome for the first time. If this is your second or third time, welcome back. My memory is incredibly good, but incredibly short. I'm glad you're here today from the beautiful UK. I hope you're over most of those storms. I know you've been getting, I think there's another one coming, starts with letter B. Unbelievable. You've already had Ali, and now there's a second one coming. It's crazy. Who else is here? Tracy Dunlop. Hello, Bruce, and all. The usual in Naples today. Hot, getting our evening rain right now, and it makes it more humid. Florida, let's see, tomorrow for the monthly antique fair. Oh, she's heading to Arcadia for the antique fair tomorrow. Have a good time with that. That's awesome. Take some photos and post them on my Facebook page. That would be great. I'd love to see that. Let's see here. Ann Jordan saying hi to everybody, as she usually does, as my official greeter. Cat Rose says a cousin of mine sells antiques in Eastern Massachusetts. Tom Henry, hi everybody. Late evening in the office today. I'll be listening into the car radio. 82 Fahrenheit, cloudy in Richmond. Gas is $2.54 around here. Pretty good price for gas. which should be better because we dropped the gas tax. Wow, that's unbelievable. Fantastic. Let's see who else is here. Tom Henry's here. 49 days till I head to Boston to start my cruise. Hi, buddy. How you doing, Tom? I saw your messages on my channel today. Did you like my reply? This is a little private joke, but if you want to see it, you're gonna have to find it. He posted a message on a video of mine, but it wasn't one of my new ones. Made a little comment about Jennifer, and oh my goodness. Okay, anyway, Cat Rose. Oh, yesterday on the way home, I saw gas prices of $3.53 and $3.68. That's in Sacramento, California. That's about average. That's not unusual for California to be that much more expensive than everywhere else. Joel Thomas was wondering that too. Welcome, Joel Thomas. How are you? Nice to have you here. Who else is here? Tracy Dunlop, of course. Let's go. Keep going. I got to go through here. Okay. Robert Brandt's talking about something with some folks here. Nurse Nancy's here. Hello, I'm out and about shopping, so I'll be listening in. Hi, Nurse Nancy. Nice to have you. Wes Morrison, 89 in New Braunfels, Texas. Wes, how are you, buddy? Another great viewer of mine. Tom Henry, Cat Rose. I get in at 12:02 a.m. We'll spend the night in Logan. Water taxi to the port on the morning. So getting ready for his trip. Fantastic. Who else is here? Let me just catch up here. Have you been on Cunard? Vivian is asking me if I've been on Cunard. I have not been on a Cunard cruise myself. I'm sure some of my viewers have. If you have any questions about Cunard, let us know. It is a 5-star line. I do know that they are a little more, what's the word I'm going to look for? They have a little more class distinctions on board, depending on your room, depending on the level of your cabin, how much you're paying. You have access to certain parts of the ship. You have access to certain restaurants, and you have access to preferential dinner time in the restaurants, a buffet, knock yourself out. So I know that much about Cunard. There are 3 ships now, another one on order, and I believe there'll be another one behind that one a few years later. So they are expanding, and they are owned by Carnival. If you're a shareholder of Carnival, you own 100 shares or more of Carnival, you can get a cabin discount on Carnival, Cunard, Costa, Princess, Holland America, P&O, all the lines that they own, AIDA Cruising. You can get a discount, a cabin discount, being a shareholder, depending on how long your cruise is. The amount is greater the longer your cruise. Vivian, that's also good for Cunard. Sylvan Forest, hi Bruce and all. 88 here in Delray Beach, cloudy with ominous clouds moving in from the south. Thumbs ups, everyone. Bruce deserves it. Sylvan, I know you can give me a thumbs up, but I don't think you can give me another thumbs up from what I understand. I hope that other thumb is getting better. And thank you for thumbs ups on the good thumb. I appreciate it, buddy. I'm so glad you're here. What do you think of the shirt? Isn't that a great logo? Is that the best or what? I love it. Sylvan, you're awesome. Crazy Rich Guys at Traveling Bruce, all my friends are interested in getting deals. A few are following, so if your number jumped in St. Thomas, that's why. If your views are going up out of St. Thomas, it's because of the guys at Fatty's Bar. The guys at Fatty's are playing trivia Tuesday and Thursday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern. Tell the boys at Fatty's I'm on Saturday at 2 o'clock. Tomorrow, 2 in the afternoon, I've got trivia tomorrow afternoon, so we'll have some more fun then. Gregory Power, hi everyone, tuning in from Halifax, about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Gregory, how you doing, pal? I don't know if you've been here before, but if you have, welcome back. If you haven't, welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. And Halifax, beautiful place. I've had the pleasure of being there twice, not on a cruise. I've been there twice for business. But I enjoyed both visits and found the area beautiful. And I wasn't there at the best time of the year. I was there in winter, and it was still nice. Fantastic. I'm glad you're here. Everyone's going to say hi to you. And Jordan saying hello. Who else is here? D&G Explorers. Hello, Bruce and TWB. How you guys doing? Cool Jazz from New York. They're here. How you doing, Cool Jazz? Let's see. Who else is here? Sylvia's here. Hi. All on my way to my second job. We'll be listening. 84 degrees in Greensboro. Sylvia, welcome back to my show. I'm glad you're listening in. Who else I have? Who else is here? Sylvia, Cat Rose. I'm looking through here. Vivian, petrol here is $4.72.3 a gallon. 4 pounds, 73 a gallon. Oh my gosh, that's like $8, almost $8 a gallon US. It's just insane. Yeah, that is typical in the UK. Vivian, thank you for telling me that. I love this kind of information. That's awesome. Crazy price for fuel, but that's why you have such high fuel efficient vehicles in Europe. Vivian, oh no, it's gone up to 526.9. Oh God, it's awful. It's just crazy. Robert, it's pricey here, but it's not that pricey. Wow. Yes, in America, you are lucky. How cheap gas is in America? It's unbelievable. Okay, Gregory Power, 121 a liter here in Halifax. Gregory, 121 in Halifax, 140 here in Creston, British Columbia. Vancouver, I think it's 165. Insane, insane. All the tree huggers are paying top dollar in Canada for gas. Crazy. Who else is here? Chat Fever. Hey, Bruce. Hi, Chat Fever. How are you doing? I think I have to thank you. I'll get to that in a minute. I thought I saw something. Vivian, QM2 Cunard. That's what time, what I'm going on is 7 days, Southampton to New York. You're going to have a wonderful cruise. The Queen Mary 2, I think, is the largest ship they've got with over 3,000 passengers. So it's a nice big ship. You're going to love it. I've seen some fantastic photos of the spa. I think it's the Ranch, what do they call, Ranch Club or something like that. You got to check that out. If you, I don't know what kind of a room you have, but if you don't have a spa package or part of that is part of your room, on the first day when you get on your ship, take a tour of the spa area and find out if you can buy a spa access pass for your trip across the Atlantic. This should allow you access into the spa daily, anytime you want, to use their shower facilities, their bathroom facilities, of course, their whirlpools, the steam rooms, their private spa area, all the amenities. Get a tour and check it out. It looks awfully good, and you may want to check that one out. I would definitely take it if I had the chance, for sure. Cool Jazz is saying, hope the second husband was rich also. Yeah, well, you know, you think, right? You wonder. Robert Brandt, imagine what the airlines would charge to bring steamer trunks on a plane. Can you imagine if you were traveling like they traveled in the 60s on cruise ships, on ocean liners? You knew you were gone for 3 weeks. You had to have enough clothing for 3 weeks. And if you're a socialite, you cannot wear the same gown twice on the entire journey, all 3 weeks. Because remember, you're getting dressed up formally every night on the cruise ship. That's the first thing. The second thing is you're getting dressed up every day in the evening when in the U.S., whether you're in New York or Philadelphia or headed to Chicago or going to LA, wherever you're traveling to, you are the wife of this gentleman. In the evenings, they're going to have these dinners, and you're kind of like royalty. You're representing, you know, him and the organization. She has 21 different gowns at least, plus all the accessories, the shoes, the hats, the jewelry, that purse. Oh my, how many other purses, right? Wow. Can you imagine how much? I can't think. No, I can't. I can't imagine, because what would be happening today is if that couple exists today, which, you know, in some form or another kind of exists depending on the trade. The husband or the wife is the high earner, and they're traveling across the Atlantic for meetings in New York, and the couple decide to go together. They're probably gone for 4 or 5 days, perhaps 3 days, maybe, but they might extend it, make it a 2-week holiday. They might be going in their own private jet, or they're going first class on British Airways, and you can bring all the bags you want. 2 or 3 bags, no extra charge each. Well, it's 1 bag for him, the rest for you know who, and that. But then again, the airfare there and back, 12 grand, 15,000, something like that, round trip, first class on British Airways. Yeah. Oh yeah. The different. It's a world in which I'm not part of, but I'd like to be. Brittany, the couple sound so romantic, especially with how they traveled. Vivian, IMAO. I have been watching all the Titanic vids. Right on. Cool Jazz, Bruce, thinking of recreating the Titanic with Chat Fever. Every time I say hi, Bruce, reminds me of Finding Nemo. How you doing? I love it. Oh, that's funny. Donna McKinnon, hi everybody. Hi Donna. Brittany, the first couple sounds so romantic for sure. Gregory Power, hi Donna. Donnell is here from Cork, Ireland. Hi, Bruce. Hi, Donna, and everybody watching TWB. Happy weekend, all. Donnell, how you doing, buddy? From Cork, Ireland. I know it's late, and I appreciate you kicking in and watching what's going on. Welcome back, pal. Robert Brent, we need to buy Bruce a purse. Cool Jazz. My uncle was given the OBE. How about that? He was given the Order of the British Empire. The Beatles were given the Order of the British Empire. How about that? Gregory Power laughing out loud. Crazy Rich Guys. I'll pick it out. I'll pick out a purse for Bruce. Oh my God. Oh, it's out of control. Donnell, welcome to any newbies watching for the first time. Absolutely, Donnell. Vivian, seen it was a good series. I think, Vivian, you're talking about that series where they were dressed in 1940s clothing, that family. And then the next episode, they were dressed in 1950s clothing every year. And they got a record player, and they had their radio, and then the Queen's birthday in 1954, or something like that, or 53, or something like that. And then or coronation. And then there was the 60s, and everything changed. They had a television finally, and it was really cool to watch this series. I think it was called Back in Time, something like that. Very interesting. Vivian says some were on rations until the 1957. Unbelievable. Crazy Rich Guys. It's 1940s clothes like John Crawford era. Yes, like the Joan Crawford era. Unreal. Vivian, so enjoying this. Vivian, I am so glad you're here. I'm glad you're liking it. Robert, something good for me. Looks like cakes. Thanks, Robert. It's awesome. Happy birthday. That's what he's saying. Thank you, Robert and Kat. Thank you, Vivian. Yep, had blocks of ice brought into Grimsby docks from ice ships. Yeah, the days of using ice to keep your food cool, and you had delivery of ice probably twice a week, maybe 3 times a week, depending on the season and how much you needed. Amazing. Cool Jazz, those of the days of the ice box. That's right. Robert Brandt showing all kinds of lollipops. Brittany Lockwood, I remember seeing a show you're talking about, just do not remember the name of it. Kelly Haston is here. Hey, it's Kelly from Pensacola driving my 12 hours to Miami. Kelly, drive safe, drive responsibly, and I'm glad you're listening in. I'm glad you're here. I'm hoping you're enjoying it. Vivian, laugh out loud, coffee mornings. Reggie and her man, worst port, 2014 Tortola. Ship only there, 7:30 a.m. till noon. Port under renovation. Oh, God. Not much to see by walking around town. Not interested in rushing through excursion. I so went back to the ship to relax. That was awful. I can imagine you would not have been happy with that. Crazy Rich Guys, Miami is fun, Kelly. Cat Chat Fever sent me a $5 donation. Thank you, Cat Chat Fever, so much. There it is. Super Chat. Thank you so much, Cat Chat. That's wonderful. Cat Rose, so fridges came in earlier in the States? Question mark. Well, yes and no. It depended. Refrigerators, I guess, in the USA by the 50s were much more common than they were in Britain, and other parts of the world. But the United States certainly had the capacity to produce more electricity through hydro, of course, at the beginning, and of course with the steam and coal, obviously. The USA, of course, was the machine, the industrial machine at that time after the war. And so they went from war production to civilian production. So instead of making tanks, they made cars. And instead of making aircraft carriers and personnel carriers and machine guns, they started making stoves and fridges and washers and dryers and all the appliances we are familiar with. The electronics. You went from radar systems to televisions. It all happened, as we know. America just became unbelievably powerful and wealthy. And so, yeah, I would imagine there were more fridges per capita in the U.S. In the 40s and 50s than Britain, until Britain finally caught up by about the late 60s, I would imagine. Very interesting. Kelly, yes, sporting the Horizon Saturday. Oh, Kelly, fantastic. You're getting to Miami, of course, to get on the Horizon. And I want pictures on my group page, if you can do it, whenever you want to post those. And give us reports. If you're able to join us live, if they've got a decent Wi-Fi package, join us live during the shows, 5 p.m. Eastern. Tell us how it's going. That would be fantastic. Give us a play-by-play of every day on your cruise if you can do it. Cat Rose is saying, I wish I was there. Cool Jazz. Bruce, have you ever watched Are You Being Served? Yes, I have seen that show. It's very funny. Robert Brandt, Cat Chat Fever. Great name. He loves that name. MG Toe, Cartagena. That's the worst. MG Toe, Istanbul. Milcano, MG Toe, Venice. These are all disaster reports. Don't even go there. Donna McKinnon, Cool Jazz. I love that show. MG Milan, another dog of a place to go on a cruise. It's a disaster. M Jordan, hey, Reggie and her man. Hey, Donna. Hey, Chat Fever. Welcome. Cool Jazz. Kelly Horizon just left NASA to come and get you tomorrow. It's headed there. Crazy Rich guys, we've never been on a crappy port. We've never been on one. Fantastic. Ed Tolson Jr. from New York is here. The Big Apple. Hello, all cloudy and 75 today in downtown New York. Welcome, Ed. Welcome back. Wendy Thompson, St. Martin after a hurricane. Got to be the worst port you saw. I would just imagine it would have been terrible. Tom Henry, Mazatlan, timeshare property. Bad, bad, bad. Oh, I can imagine that would be bad. MG to Vancouver, attempted robbery. Attempted robbery in Vancouver. MG, do you walk around with a T-shirt with a bullseye on it? I mean, what's going on here with you? What is it about you that attracts the worst in people? It's just not right. You deserve better, my friend. You really do. Robert Brandt, I'd say the swamp in D.C., but that's not a port. It's a port of another kind, isn't it? MG, Mazatlan, attempted robbery. Oh, man, MG, stop going to the poor parts of town. I don't understand it. Reggie and her man, Cool Jazz, my Italian immigrant grandfather had ice and coal business. He had an ice and a coal business, delivered ice from Ice House near Brooklyn Bridge to Manhattan restaurants. Wow, that is history. Really, that is something awesome. That is awesome. Cool Jazz, I'm so glad MG Toe is here. He should be typing away. This show is dedicated to him. It's the MG Top 10 Worst Ports from MG Toe. Unbelievable. What are you going to do? Robert Brent, you can't blame a port for a hurricane. I'll go with you on that. But boy, it would have been a terrible thing to see if you just got there off a luxurious cruise ship and now you're smack dab in the middle of this. It's not a pretty sight. Shock to the system, I'm sure. Okay, Kelly, luckily I haven't had any bad ports. Fantastic, Kelly. Hopefully you won't have any on this cruise either. MG Toe, yes, cool. MG, don't get off the ship. That's what he's saying. Don't get off the ship. D&G Explorers never had a nighttime port, but we did run like a little scared mice when we walked through Nassau. Yeah, I can imagine that, depending on where in Nassau you were. Robert Brent, MG Toe, where was the booze? Where was the booze all fake? Was the booze all fake in every one of these ports? Robert Brent, what was wrong in Nassau, Derek? Cat Rose, oh my. MG Toe, Marseille, France, bought some cognac that turned out to be fake. MG Toe, Mexico, fake tequila. Oh man, MG's not having a good time out there. D&G, we just heard to be careful. There was a travel warning for us when we left the ship. We expected the worst, but it was us that made it worse than it was. It wasn't that bad. Robert Brent, Marseille knows for some ripoffs and crime. They're known for that. Robert Brent, known for that. Yeah, true. Sebastian is here. Marseille, most dangerous city in France. Sebastian, welcome to the show. I don't think I've seen you here before. Welcome here. Sylvan Forest in Oco Rios. I got accosted by a lady of the night. In broad daylight. I got accosted by a lady of the night in broad daylight. She just wouldn't take no for an answer. No. Finally, I took a deep breath and screamed, no, you know what? People back on the ship heard me. There's no, and there's no, I'm not interested. Get away from me. Oh my, what a story. Sylvia. This show is definitely for MG Toe. Poor guy has too many bad stories to tell. Cool Jazz, did you have it tested for authenticity? Did you test the, oh my God, I can't believe it. Gregory, I enjoyed spending a day in Washington, D.C., seeing the city with my daughter. Great city to visit. Took the open bus tour around the city to all the sites, etc. Subway back to our vehicle later at night. I have to admit, I've been to Washington, D.C. twice. The last time was with my daughter, my wife and I. When my daughter was about 14, 15, and we, about 4 or 5 days, enjoyed it. Smithsonian, of course, walked around the White House, of course, walked towards the Capitol, and you know, saw it. We drove to Pennsylvania, to Gettysburg, and spent a day there. That was one of my bucket list things to see because of the Ken Burns series on PBS, Civil War. Wanted to see Gettysburg in real life, and I enjoyed that very much. And so I enjoyed Washington, D.C. and Virginia. It was very, very nice. D&G Explorers, we walked from dock to the Queen's Staircase, then the Government House, and then to Straw Market. Okay, that was in Nassau, right on MG Toe, Greece. That watered down red wine that they try to pass off as wine, found them watering down the wine. I tell you, MG, you're not going to fool MG. France saw them watering down their beer in France. Robert Brandt, Bahamas as a rule is pretty safe. MG Toe, cool. I could taste it, and I know what Remy St. Martin really tastes like, and this wasn't Remy St. Martin. Robert Brandt, I'm careful with Haiti and Jamaica. Gregory Power from Halifax sent me a $5 super chat. Gregory, thank you very much. There it is right there. Thank you very much for your donation. That's awful kind of you. Really appreciate it. Kelly Haston, Nurse Nancy would know that answer to the loss of liter of water per person. She'd know that. Yeah, it's true. She would. MG Toe, all over Mexico, you find fake tequila that had food coloring and artificial flavoring. Jill Ladd is here. Haven't been on any ports. Going on my first cruise in May. Right on, Jill. MG Toe, Jill, stay on the boat. Don't get off the boat. Just stay on the boat. Crazy rich guys. Make a video of us watching you, traveling Bruce. We can do that. Not a video. Just take a photo. You know, a still shot. You know, post it on my thing. If you want to do a video, okay, you can do a video. You can say hi to me. Sure. If you want to, that would be even, above and beyond the call of duty. I thank you. Anything like that. Post it on my Facebook group page. I think the gang would love to see that. Wendy Thompson, no blame because of hurricane. Not much open yet. Cool Jazz, MG Toe, don't discourage Jill on her first cruise. Jill, it's going to be all right. Don't worry about it. Rome, pickpockets everywhere, he's saying. MG Toe, Rome, pickpockets. Robert Rant, enjoy the first cruise, Jill, and let us know about it. Here is TRG7. I can't even figure that guy out. He is live now. I can't believe it. Okay, MG Toe, cool. I'm just trying to tell her to be very, very careful. Okay. There you go. Jill Ladd, Robert Brandt, sure will. Robert Scott, any update on the Galveston port? Robert, I don't have an update other than the flash flood warning was issued last week. I think it was for Friday, Saturday last week. The ships came in, apparently. The passengers disembarked and embarked, and everybody went out, had a great old time. Haven't heard anything since that time, but we'll have to wait and see for the next tropical system. Will each tropical system coming through the Gulf in that region cause flash flooding problems in Galveston? We'll let you know. We'll keep an eye on it. That's all I know. And Jordan, awesome, Jill. Where are you off to on your first cruise? Robert Brad is saying, guys, give Bruce a thumbs up. I've got 23. Thank you, everybody. MG Toe. Jill, don't let the pushy on board service try to push booze down your gullet every 10 minutes. Don't let them do that to you. Jill Ladd, Orlando to the Bahamas, my 55th birthday. Jill, you're going to have a great time. You're going to love it. MG Toe, no way. They're not going to push booze on me. I'll drink responsibly, MG. Don't worry about me. Jill, you'll be just fine. Robert Brand, I agree, MG Toe. I drink every 30 minutes is plenty. Cat Chat Fever. Laugh out loud. Me. Gas is $2.59 here in Abilene, Texas. Good price for gas. Nice going. Cool, Jazz. Happy double nickels, Jill Ladd, Robert, laughing out loud. MG Toe, never, ever give anyone your credit card. You may find several charges for the same thing. Be careful. And Jordan, awesome. Jill, have a great birthday. Crazy rich, guys. Is the cabin discount each passenger or just one person needs to be a shareholder? One person needs to be a shareholder, and it's a cabin credit. So if there's two people in there, it's just a cabin credit. If both are shareholders, you don't each get a cabin credit. It's just one cabin credit per cabin, no matter how many shareholders are in the cabin. So, if it's mom and dad and the two kids, and dad has 100 shares in each of the names, you're not getting 4 discounts. You're getting just one cabin credit, but it's still an okay deal. A 1-week cruise, you get a $100 cabin credit just for being a shareholder. If it's a 14-day or longer, it's like $250 depending on the cruise line. That works for Carnival, works for Norwegian and Royal Caribbean. Are publicly traded. They have shareholder credits available. MG Toe, if you have a backpack, be sure to have it locked. Jill Ladd, and thank you. Jill Ladd, going Royal Caribbean, Mariner of the Seas. They say there is a place to store your carry-on until you get to your room. Likely, I'll tell you, Jill, you're going to like the Mariner of the Seas. They just refurbished it about 4 months ago. They're doing 3- and 4-day cruises now, and it's got all the toys on board. To build that from scratch would be $1 billion. But depending on the time you get on the ship, you might be able to go right to your room with your carry-on, and you could probably drop your carry-on right off in your room and put your valuables inside your vault in your room right away, and leave the carry-on probably under your bed. You just lift your mattress. There's a storage area down there, or just under the bed, and it's out of the way. If the room steward still has to clean up, shouldn't be a problem. You'll be just fine. But anyway, put your valuables in the vault when you get there. MG Toe, always use a money belt or a nickel or a neck belt with your money. Never bring large sums of money on shore. MG has given us all the warnings. Sylvia, Sylvan Forest, I still think the sextant on red is your best shirt for you. Thumb is healing very slowly, but I did give you a thumbs up already. The other one is just along for the ride. Oh, man, Sylvan, that's unbelievable. Get better real soon. Robert Brent, all true MG Toe. Robert Brent, always be cautious but have fun. MG, never bring jewelry on board or on shore. Leave it at home. Jill Ladd, only going on Coco Cay, not getting off in Nassau. Sylvia, MG Toe, everyone needs to have their own experiences. Cat Chat Fever. Wow, Cat Rose, yay. Brittany Lockwood, if for some reason I'm not in tomorrow, Bruce, I hope you have a fantastic birthday. Brittany, thank you for the advanced happy birthday greeting, and have a great day tomorrow if I don't see you either. I'll see you then on Monday. MG Toe, be careful of strangers spilling something on you and then apologize while they wipe it off of you and pick your pockets. Be careful, people. MG knows every trick in the book. MG, are you a former pickpocket? Are you one of these guys that's reformed yourself and you know all the tricks, or what? Or were you a cop and you saw it all? Were you one of those undercover detective type guys? Or were you one of those guys that operated like a security camera system in subways and you saw all this happening? Or do you just like watching this on video? Or do you hang around with the wrong people? I just don't get it, MG. You're surrounded by bad people from time to time out there. Cat Chat Fever, my car burns as if you just think about it. You just think about starting it. It has, if you just think about my car burn. I don't know what that means, Cat. Is it just hot where you are? I'm not sure what you're trying to tell me. Robert Brent, not wise to wear expensive jewelry into port, nor should you wear that lanyard announcing you are a tourist most places. It gets you better deals to say you are staying on land. It's true. Then you won't worry, you can return. If they know you're on the ship, then they know you'll dial away for a few hours. Yes, Canyon Ranch. Thank you, Cat Rose. The name of the spa on the Cunard ship is Canyon Ranch. Thank you, Cat Rose. Love that. Vivian Clark, Nicholson. Thank you, will do. Vivian, you're going to have a great time on that cruise. Jill Ladd, Robert, wow, great advice. I hate looking like a tourist. Cat Rose, or earlier. MG Toe, don't talk to strangers with big smiles on their faces, especially when they ask where you live. Open invitation for a home robbery. Robert Brent, it's just a caution, Jill. It's just a caution. DNG, how are you? Crazy Rich Guys. Vivian, let's see. I have 14 different outfits. She's got 14 different outfits to go. Oh my God, Vivian, look out. Oh my God, I don't know what that luggage situation is going to be like for you. Robert Brand, anyone coming to St. Thomas, I'll tell you the best places for deals on electronics, jewelry, cosmetics, etc. Aluni is here. MG Toe, I love your travel advice. Bruce needs a shirt with all your do's and don'ts listed. I'd buy it. Oh my, oh gosh. Are there any cruises that wash your bathrobes in your cabin daily? What kind of a question is that? What are you talking about? What are you doing in your bathrobe that requires it to be washed on a daily basis? I kind of wonder if I've got myself a potential situation here. I don't know. I'm just quickly scanning through here to see what's going on. I'm trying to catch up with all you guys with all these messages. Pardon me, folks. No, everything is good so far. I have no idea what kind of a question that is. That's weird. I don't want to know what you're doing with your robe that would require your robe to be washed on a daily basis. I really don't think I want to know that. This PG channel, I don't think we can handle that kind of info. Yeah. I don't know. Gosh. Okay. Let's see here. Sorry, folks. I'm catching up with my messages. Okay. Crazy Rich Guys, we got sucked into labor all weekend. They're saying, Vivian, I go on April the 14th. My birthday is 17th, mid-Atlantic, 80 miles from the Titanic. Oh, my goodness. Awesome. MG Toe, you guys be careful of good-looking women that say for $20, they will show you a good time. Real good-looking women like the women here on this chat are a lot more expensive. Oh my God. You can tell I don't pre-read these comments. They just come in and I'm reading them as we go. Oh, MG, you are a troublemaker. Oh my God. Robert Brandt is saying, unpaid labor, you guys are paid labor. I am paying dearly for you guys. Oh my gosh. Robert Brandt, quality costs, right? Tom Henry, our cruises in 2014 had to replace Cabo due to a storm the prior week. No tours in Mazatlan. We were talked into, and then he stopped. I'll get into that. He is paying for college boys. Wendy is saying, MG Toe, yep. Robert Brandt, Wendy Thompson, they are being paid well for 2 days of work. Don't fall for this. Tom Henry, free cab ride to see a resort was terrible. They didn't want to hear no. Yes, Tom, I can imagine they would have been desperate for business. Sylvan, Robert Brandt, not just a purse, but the shoes and belt to match. We don't want him to look like Klinger on match. Oh, it's getting out of hand, folks. Sometimes I can't control my own channel. What can I tell you? I'm just reading the comments. Robert Brandt's loving this one. The visual, Robert is saying, the visual, Sylvan, the visual. Crazy rich guys. What's MASH? Oh, yeah, 16-year-old twins. What's MASH? Oh, my God. Oh, what do they teach you guys in school? Television history should be part of it, don't you think, folks? Oh, my gosh. Wendy Thompson, granddaughter, is accepted into William Woods College with $16,000 in scholarships so far. Wendy, it won't be enough. It won't be enough. You're going to need more. Unbelievable. Robert Brandt, that's great. Gregory Power laughing out loud. Sylvan's Klinger comment. MG Toe, most medication that you buy in those pharmacies is, oh no, fake and made for animals. Oh no. Robert Brand, Tortula is great if you need a quick Botox. Tom Henry, wow, crazy rich guys travel near, never watched MASH. You don't know what MASH is? Oh my God, crazy rich guys, don't think so. I don't think I've ever seen it. What's channel or what network would it be on? Any idea what network? Crazy rich guys, remember, we were born in 2001, you know. We were born in 2001. So anything that happened like from 2005 back, how are we supposed to know? Oh my goodness, that's true. Oh no. Tom Henry, great show about doctors in the Korean conflict. That's what the show was about. It was a great show about doctors in the Korean conflict. That is correct, Tom. Well done. And Arnie Texan, Wendy Thompson, congratulations. Your granddaughter will love it. I graduated from there in 1973. Best horse training school. There you go. Fantastic. Robert Brandt, don't waste your time. Tom Henry. Tom Henry, hi, D&G. Doing what? Tom Henry, Robert Brandt, wasting my time. Doing what? Trying to explain television to the twins, explaining great television of the past to the twins. It's a waste. You're wasting your time. Wendy Thompson saying, and Arnie Texan, she's doing a pre-vet program. Kat Rose, never been on a cruise. Kat, got to get on a cruise. Sylvan, let's face it, name any port, and MG Toe will have a reason to hate it. Don't ever change, MG. Don't you ever change, MG. Sylvia, I've been cruising for 3 decades. Been there, seen it all. Tom Henry, I could not believe Venice. Tom Henry laughing out loud. Robert Brandt, Venice in August can get smelly and a bit busy. Jim Thomas, hello, Bruce. Down in Chico, helping Deb with a fallen tree limb. Jim Thomas, welcome to the channel. It's out of control. Oh my gosh, MG Toe. I'm not a pessimist. Just a realistic guy as to my experiences. Robert Brandt, it's Thailand. You need to authenticate the prostitutes. In Thailand, you got to be careful. You got to. Robert, that might be just a bit too much information coming from you right now. I don't know. Reggie and her man, buy all off grocery shopping. Have a great weekend. MG told Robert the Italians still only bathe once a week. It's worse than Constantinople. It's awful over there. Oh my goodness. Crazy rich guys. Yeah, they mostly all boys. Oh my gosh. And Jordan, awesome. Jim, say hi to Deb for me. Hope all goes well. Tom Henry and Robert Brandt, make sure they have the right plumbing. Oh my God. Oh no. Brittany Lockwood, a day in port is what you make of it. Some ports will be better than others. Brittany, you're absolutely right. And Jordan, see you, Reggie. Have a great weekend. Robert Brandt, correct, Tom Henry. Not that I'd be looking. I'm skipping the next comment, Sylvan. MG Toe in Rome. Watch out for the priests and the Pope pickpockets. All of them. They're all crooks. Watch those guys. Oh, they're so brazen. They hand out trays and they want you to just put the money in there. It's unbelievable. Those guys, crazy rich guys. Jim Thomas, Ann. I stole the phone from Jim. I type faster. Robert Brandt. The real thieves are in Washington. MG Toe, Sylvia, you can't get into St. Peter's without tipping the mob at the door, even if you want to go in to pray. Same with most cathedrals in Europe. Oh my gosh. And Jordan, be safe. Deb and Jim, crazy rich guys. That Robert Brandt, he's funny. Robert Brandt, no, I'm not paying you 2 more. I'm not paying you 2 anymore. Cat Rose, I lived in Maryland for a short bit on the border of SEDC, Southeast DC. Bad area. So bad that at TGE nearest metro station, you couldn't get a taxi cab in broad daylight. They wouldn't pick you up. Unbelievable. Crazy Rich Guy's sextant. Cool Jazz. If MG Tow was a YouTuber, all cruise lines would have a pic of him posted as a cruise hater. Every single one of them. Jim Thomas, a huge limb fell on my house this morning. So Jim came down and I turned him into a lumberjack. Sawdust is a flying. That's Debbie Manuel on Jim Thomas's phone saying hello to everybody. Oh my gosh, Debbie, unbelievable. Tracy, Jim Ladd, Nassau is nice to see. If you've never been there, just need to get out of the port area. Never had a problem. Even when you come back at night, we're just always cautious anywhere. MG Tow, I'm just a well-experienced cruiser that's been around. I've just been around. I've just seen it all. At Cat Rose is saying it burns a lot of gas. That I guess that's for a car. I'm not sure. Cat Chat Fever, laugh out loud gas. 12.5 miles per gallon seems like a mile is 1 block long though. Oh, Cat, you got to get a more efficient car. Cool Jazz would not take MG Tow to a casino with me. Bad things are sure to happen. Debbie Sample, I love your laugh. Debbie, thank you so much. I've been laughing a lot today, I'll tell you that. It's out of control. I'm just pouring myself a drink here. I need a refreshment. Thank you, Debbie, for coming by and joining us today. Cat Rose, thank you. MG Tow, cool. I used to own a hotel in Vegas. I know how corrupt the casinos are. Never gamble in Vegas. Best advice can give regarding Vegas. MG Tow, very interesting. Ann Jordan, wow, Debbie, Jim is amazing. Be safe from that tree. Crazy Rich Guys. PG, we have a parent. PG, we have a parent. Okay, what's going on next? Jill Ladd, Tracy Dunlop. I was in Nassau a long time ago. I wanted to go on a cruise for the experience, and the ports were not on my bucket list, so we thought we would stay on the ship to enjoy it. But there you go. What's wrong with that? Cat Chat Fever, good save, Cat Chat, good save, MG. Robert Brandt, let's not piss on casinos, MG Tow. I'm invested dearly in this one to open at the Marriott. Cat Chat Fever, I hate my phone. It's supposed to be smart. She's it's not working for you. That's that darn autocorrect. That's what that is. Tom Henry, hugs to Debbie Emanuel and Ann Jordan. You are not hookers. Who said they were? I mean, come on, you guys. MG Tow, Tom, all women like to spend their man's money. All women like to spend. Oh, MG, you're getting yourself into a whole bunch of trouble. And Cool Jazz, I spend my woman's money. Laugh out loud. Cool Jazz is saying, oh gosh, Crazy Rich Guys, I'll spend a man's money. Sylvan Forest, I have been cruising for 3 decades too. I guess I stay on the right side of the tracks in port. And Amy Bradley Tobago was terrible. Amy, what happened? Tell us, how bad was it? Debbie Sample, you're killing me with your laugh. You're making me snort. Sorry. They're killing me too. What can I tell you? And Jordan, laugh out loud. Cool Jazz, Robert Brand. I bet MG Tow could get paid to not review ports. MG, here's $100. Don't talk about us, please. God, don't talk about us. And Jordan, laughing out loud. Tom Henry, Robert Brandt, having a drink. Let's have a drink. Tracy Dunlap, but you can't tell, Robert Brandt, when outdoor plumbing is taped to extremity. Laugh out loud. Oh, there's information being shared here that is far too detailed for what this channel really needs. I think, people some of you folks seem to have gotten around a little bit and are sharing maybe a wee too much. Oh my gosh. Wendy Thompson, MG gets around. I'm not saying a word. Cool Jazz, this has to be the Bruce's best pre-birthday in life. MG, the ship is the excursion. Enjoy the ship when it's not crowded. The ship is the real attraction. There you go. Wendy Thompson, I'm being nice. Robert Brandt, maybe not. Tracy Dunlap, laughing my ass off. Vivian, been a fun evening, thanks. And Jordan, literally crying, laughing right now. Robert Brandt, gotten around. God's sake. Oh, you guys are killing me today. Way too much information being shared. We got 27 thumbs ups going right now. I want to thank you for that. I just want to take a quick peek at my email because I noticed I was right, because I did see a donation come in today. Derek Rodriguez made a donation to my channel. Thank you so much, Derek Rodriguez. Thank you very, very much. Madeira, California. That would be D&G Explorers. You guys are unbelievable. You're your channel is great, and I know my folks here enjoy watching you guys when you guys are on as well. Oh my goodness! Thanks everybody for donations today. This is so much fun. Um, what else we got here? Vivian, happy birthday for tomorrow. Thank you, Vivian. I'm 63 tomorrow, and Sunday I'm off. I'm driving to Calgary. On Monday I'll be on the air from Calgary, Alberta. We're going to visit our daughter. She's getting ready to head to Los Angeles for a work assignment for about a 3 to 6 month contract. We are being told at this point in time. Everyone's excited. So we're going to catch up with her for a few days, help her pack a few things and see her off, and go from there. Then we have an excuse to go to LA. Ha yes, sir. There you go. Tracy Dunlop, I think this show was your early birthday present. Sylvan Forrest, are you on tomorrow? I'm on tomorrow. Crazy Rich Guys, we love D&G Explored. Oh, goodness. Too much fun today. Oh, well, I hope you had a good time today, folks. I had a great old time. I want to thank everyone for joining me today. I wish you a wonderful weekend if I don't see you tomorrow. And if you are on tomorrow, we'll have whatever cruise news I can come up with. I'll have it tomorrow. And after that, I'll have some trivia. I'm sure I'll be working on some trivia for tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock Eastern. Robert Brandt, cheers. Bruce, Cat, Chad Fever, happy birthday for tomorrow and happy birthday for next year. I'm first. Wendy Thompson, Pan will be on the show. No, Pan will not be on the show. I'm not going to do the show from the house with the cats. I will be doing the show from my daughter's apartment. So no pussycats this time, but maybe next time. Gregory Power, have a great birthday tomorrow. Cheers. Thank you, Gregory. Thank you for your donation today. And Jordan, lots of thumbs ups and wishes and everything else. And Sylvan saying, great show. Thanks. See you tomorrow. Thank you, Sylvan. Guys, have yourself a wonderful evening, great weekend. Any of you folks who are watching the show on the rerun, what can I say? I'm just reading these comments as they come in. I'm not making this stuff up. Jim Thomas, what's a TTFN from us? What's that? The TTFN. I always forget what that for now. Toodles for now, something like that. Tom Henry, get well wish to Paul Wilgus. Debbie Sample, thanks for the laughs. Happy birthday early. Thanks, Debbie. Thanks, Tom. Cat Chat Fever, awesome. We'll be back tomorrow. Good night, everybody. Robert Brandt, get well. Paul Wilgus and Jordan, great show. Bruce, happy early birthday. Amazing D&G Explorers. And Tom Henry, bye, everybody. All right, you guys, this is Bruce with Traveling with Bruce. Robert Brandt saying ta-ta for now. I'm saying ta-ta for now. I'll be on here tomorrow, and look forward to seeing you then. And I got to get some rest right now. Post this show and take it easy for the rest of the night. I'll talk to you tomorrow, too. See you guys. Bye for now.